time until late February 2017. At 8:30 p.m. on this particular night, the Medidi Park Rangers received a radio transmission in which it was relayed to them that 25-year-old Meiko Lacuna had disappeared under highly unusual circumstances and left no tracks behind. They were made aware that Meiko had been on a rainforest tour with the local agency, Max Adventures, and that he was last seen sitting on the steps of his cabin at around 8:30 p.m. the night before. The park director, Marcos Uzquiano, said, "This is a really strange case for us. We're not sure what happened last night, but we need to find out." The rangers on scene made comparisons to a disappearance that took place in 1981, where a tourist by the name of Yossi Ginsberg was lied to and given deceitful information by a fellow traveler. This led Yossi to being stranded in the rainforest for 3 weeks. But this incident was different. After the individuals in the group were questioned, it was thought that this was not the case. The rangers were described as being quiet and looking very determined. They quickly set off and began to search the immediate area inside the rainforest, thinking that Meiko couldn't have gotten very far given the harsh terrain and he was wearing sandals. Fazer, a guide for Max Adventures, relayed some interesting details. Fazer said, in regards to Meiko, that he had returned to the camp acting noticeably excited. He was acting a little bit strange, his face just didn't look normal. Fazer was keeping tabs on Meiko and invited him and the other tourists to participate in a Pachama ceremony, which is an ancient tradition thanking the Mother Earth for giving them permission to enter the forest. Meiko refused the invitation and remained at his cabin. From the point that Fazer left with the other tourists, another guide had made the visit to Meiko within 5 minutes, but he had gone. Fazer and the other guides, equipped with flashlights, scoured the lodge and combed the immediate area inside the nearby forest to no avail. Fazer said that they were searching until 5 in the morning and was surprised that he couldn't be located. Fazer said, and I quote, "It's because he offended the Pachamama, he didn't want to participate in the ceremony." After doing a bit of further reading, it seems like the locals are very superstitious of the area, and they say that the rainforest is filled with mystical entities, both good and bad. Locals believe that to disrespect the Pachamama is to put yourself at risk from being driven mad by Duende, which they believe to be a spirit that lurks in the forest and has the ability to take and hide its victims. One of the guides, who had spent most of his life in the area, had this to say, "For myself and the rangers, this is our culture. We believe that the Duende is real, and we think that it's possible that Meiko was taken by him. If this incident wasn't already strange enough for you, let's get bizarre." Because they didn't know what to do, the guides called for 2 shamans, by the names of Romulo and Tabushir, and asked them to bring Meiko back. The pair arrived and brought various ingredients with them, including cigarettes, beers, wine bottles, cocoa leaves, sugar, candles, sparkling confetti, and a large wooden cross. They said, and I quote, "We believe that Duende has been harnessing the energy of Mapujo, a powerful tree spirit, to hide Meiko. He's far away, in a place we can't reach, but by performing the necessary intricate ceremonies, we may be able to bring him back." At this point, Meiko's family, including his father, stepmother, and sister, had flown in from Chile. Under the guidance of the park rangers and other professionals, they joined the organized search efforts. The rangers thought it best to work section by section, combing multiple kilometers around the lodge by walking in sweeping horizontal lines. I may be wrong, but I get the feeling that some of the rangers didn't care much for what the shamans were doing, and the shamans didn't believe the rangers could be successful until the spirits were appeased. Nevertheless, despite the differences, the rangers searched for 10 hours a day in different sections of the rainforest, desperately trying to find Meiko as they knew time was of the essence. The shamans also stayed up until dawn every night, making offerings and performing their ceremonies in payment to the Pachamama. Interestingly, and perhaps even bizarrely, the rangers did concede that they were surprised that they couldn't find even the slightest sign of him, no tracks or any trace at all. They said it was like he was never there. The experienced trackers among the rangers said that they couldn't believe that they hadn't found a single shred of evidence, and one of them was quoted as saying, "In 20 years, we've never experienced anything quite like this before." For those familiar with the channel, this next part may not come as much of a surprise anymore. 6 days after the initial disappearance and tireless searching by all involved, one of the rangers found one of Maycool's socks on the rainforest floor, seemingly abandoned. This gave the rangers a location to focus their search efforts, and a new plan was produced to zone in on the area, which they immediately began to thoroughly comb. The shamans said that this was a good sign and that the findings changed everything. They were of the opinion that the sock represented a way to reach out to Maycool's soul to bring him back. The shamans then spent the next 2 days and nights without sleep, performing their ceremonies and presenting offerings to the Pachamama. The following day, they said that their payments had been accepted and that the following days would see more signs of Maycool. The day after this would see the rangers taking a boat down the river when they heard the guides shouting at them to come over. The rangers docked and the guides called out that they'd found Maycool. Surprisingly, while he was somewhat dehydrated and had a lot of bites, he had swollen ankles and he was otherwise okay. Maycool joked and said that he wanted a Coca-Cola. At this point, let's get bizarre again, why not? Maycool was brought back to camp where he told of what happened to him during his time missing. I was trying so hard to find the river, but I just couldn't find it, he told the rescuers. He went on and said that he was only able to make it because he was following a group of monkeys that would drop him fruit and lead him to shelter and water. When asked why he went into the rainforest, this is what he had to say. I was having strange, terrible thoughts about the rainforest and I just wanted to get out. I started running. I was wearing sandals and I said no, they would slow me down. I threw away the sandals, then the cell phone and my flashlight. And after so much running, I stopped under a tree and I started thinking, what had I done? What was I doing? And then when I wanted to get back, it wasn't possible. Maycool said that he isn't completely sure what happened to him that night or why he made the decisions he did. Obviously, the shamans, on the other hand, alongside the locals, maintained that it was the duende's doing. They said, the signs fit, his strange behavior pattern, the maddening thoughts, that's what duende does. Ultimately though, the circumstances leading up to and during Maycool's disappearance remain a mystery. What are your thoughts about this truly bizarre incident? I don't think I've ever come across an incident like this before.